Hi, in this particular video, we look at some of the math functions. The first one is sum, and as the name suggests, it is used to return the sum of cells or the range selected. And the syntax is pretty simple. So is equal to, you call the sum function, and then in the parentheses, you pass on the cell locations which you want to add. Now, over here, I've got three columns which I want to add. So my sum function looks like is equal to sum, and then I just select the entire range. Let's see. So I'm deleting this is equal to sum, and now I'm just selecting all the three cells together. So this gives me 34. Now, if I want to add this, now I can very well do it in the similar fashion, but over here I've selected these cells one by one. So this way we can select cells which are not written together. So for example, if there was a value over here also, and I wanted to add this particular value also to this, so all I would do is comma, just press enter. And there is another way by which you can sum cells, and that is using the plus operator. So all you need to do is, let me just delete this, is equal to this plus this plus this. Let's move on to the next one. SumIf I'm not going to cover over here. I've got another video after the VBA module which covers SumIf, SumIfs, but do go through this exercise. Sum product. Now this function returns the sum after multiplying numbers in an array. It can also be used to count cells based on criteria provided. So let's look at the syntax is equal to sum product array1, comma array2, comma array3 and so on. Array1 is the range of cells which first need to be multiplied and then summed. And array2, it is optional, the second array or range to multiply and then summed. So let's look at this example. I've got items over here, whether they are perishable or not. I've got cost and number of units. Now over here, I want to calculate the total cost faced by the superstore. So first what I'll need to do is I'll need to identify the total cost for each of these items and then sum them all together. Now there is one way by which I can calculate the total cost. That is by first finding the total cost for each item and then adding them together. Which is $7,993.5, or using sum product, what I've done is I've passed on the array first C18 to C23, which consists of all my costs, and then I've passed on the second array D18 to D23, which consists of the number of units. So what Excel then does is it multiplies each of the corresponding cells and it gives us 7994, which is equivalent to what we've got over here. So using sum product, we were able to get the total cost within just one statement rather than calculating individual total costs and then summing them together. Now the rand function returns random numbers greater than 0 and less than 1, and the numbers can change on recalculation. The syntax is pretty straightforward, is equal to rand and parenthesis. There are no parameters which need to be passed. And over here, I've already used the rand function, but if I press F2 and then enter, as you can see, all the numbers changed. Let's do it again. Now, rand function can be used while we are doing statistical analysis in Excel. Rand between. Now, this particular function returns random numbers between specified numbers. Now, with the rand function, we were able to generate random numbers between 0 and 1. But with rand between, we can have random numbers greater than 1 as well. Now the syntax is straightforward, is equal to rand between. Then in the parenthesis, we are passing on the lowest value and the highest value between which we want the numbers to be. So over here, I've calculated my rand between 0 and 100,000. If I click on F2 and then if I click on enter, all of these numbers change. Now the next function we'll look at is math round. Now this function rounds the numbers to a specified number of digits, and the syntax is equal to round. the cell location and the number of digits to which we want it to be rounded to. Now over here, if I want to round 45.3976106 to 45.40, that is basically to two significant digits, I'm using is equal to round cell location comma 2. Similarly, if you look at 85.4139 and I want to round it off to three significant digits, it gives me 85.414, 33.589, and if I want to round it off to 34, it is giving me round A21, 0. Even this function rounds a positive number up and negative number down to the nearest even integer. So 45.3976, the nearest even round digit would be 46. For minus 50, it would be minus 52. For 85, it would be 86. And for 33.58, it would be 34. Let's see if this was 32. Then also it is 34. And if this was 31, then it is 32. Math odd, similar to even, it rounds up the positive number and negative number down to the nearest odd integer. Mod function, this function returns the remainder after a number is divided by a divisor. The syntax is equal to mod number and the divisor. So let's say I've got a number 3 and divisor as 5. The remainder would be 3 as 3 cannot be divided by 5. 19 divided by 3, remainder would be 1. 8 divided by 2, remainder would be 0. And minus 8.5 divided by 3, remainder would be 0.5. In the next video, we will look at some of the statistical functions. Thank you.